How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another GTA Online video. My name is Saintsfan, and today I want to talk about the next DLC, the release schedule for it. Now, before we get into that, just know this isn't anything official because Rockstar never give us anything official until like the day before. It seems like they are silent on all fronts. They will not tell us anything. Seems like they won't even give us a little tease. So what we have to do is rely on leakers, and that's how it's been in GTA Online for the last 4 or 5 years. Fortunately, if you don't know the whole backstory behind everything, a lot of the notable leakers left, or Rockstar asked them to not leak anymore. So that's why over the last couple of months, we haven't really gotten any good leaked information. But the one guy that is still sort of doing stuff, FunMW2, a lot of you guys know who he is. I guess he has some ways that he can see sort of behind the scenes on what Rockstar's doing, and he uses that information to give us possible release dates or possible information. And what he said a couple days ago, the ETA on the next DLC release, he thinks is June. But if there's any delay, which we all know is a possibility, then late June or early July. So that is the updated release schedule for the next DLC. Now, what might end up happening is late May, they could tease the DLC because we have one more week. This Thursday is going to be the final week of the new Simeon missions. There are 2 more of them, I believe. So that'll take us to next Thursday, which is the 16th. And then we have 2 more Thursdays in May, the 23rd and the 30th. You know, maybe the 23rd or maybe even the 30th, we get an actual tease from Rockstar. And then they could release the DLC early June. Like, assuming nothing gets delayed according to Fun, that could happen. And the reason is because E3 is early June. I believe it's like the 2nd week of June. And while Rockstar never actually go to E3, there is a lot of hype in the industry, like in the community regarding video games. And if they wanted to capitalize on that hype, releasing a DLC, you know, a hopefully fairly big DLC during that time, I think a lot of eyes would be on it. Now, speaking of E3, just to sort of give some information on that, if Rockstar had ever released anything at E3, it was always at Sony's press conference. They never actually had a press conference of their own. But this year, Sony's not actually going to be at E3. They're not doing a press conference. So that possibility of Rockstar maybe releasing a trailer or something during E3, it's looking less and less likely. And I doubt anything is going to happen with Microsoft just because Sony and Rockstar and Take-Two, their relationship seems to be a lot better. Sony pay them a lot of money, Rockstar and or Take-Two, and that's why Microsoft never really get any big update announcement from Rockstar. So that is a little bit more of the release schedule or some information regarding the release schedule. According to what Fun knows, it looks like it's coming out in June, assuming everything goes according to plan and it doesn't get delayed, which it should not get delayed. Like, unless this is the biggest DLC they've ever worked on, it shouldn't get delayed because they've been hopefully working on this for like 6 months. And, you know, normally the DLCs only took them like, you know, 3-ish months or so. And that brings me to, I guess, my next point. I don't think this is going to be an Arena Wars Part 2 DLC. Like, that would just suck if we waited 6 months and then it was only an Arena Wars Part 2. I wouldn't have minded an Arena Wars Part 2 in March as like a little holdover DLC, but having it be in June as like a main big DLC, I would be pretty disappointed if it was a Part 2. Unless it was an import and export Part 2, that's like the only Part 2 DLC I would really like. So that's going to be another interesting thing to see, like what Rockstar's doing. Like, are they just going to be lazy and do an Arena Wars Part 2, or are they actually going to surprise us with something new and something cool? And to that point, Fun mentioned that Rockstar are making changes to the daily objectives. So he's hoping for some objectives with special rewards. And I really like this idea. Because like new players and all sorts of players can gain temporary access to certain vehicles by completing specific objectives. For instance, there would be one that says complete repo. Do you even lift? And then you gain access, temporary access to a cargo bob. He said also it'd be nice if this would apply to the drip feed of every new update, where Rockstar will confirm the existence of the drip feed vehicles and let us have temporary access to them via completing specific objectives. And of course, like, the one issue with this is people would use exploits to store them in their garage, but Rockstar could just place the drip feed vehicles in the blacklist until they are released. And I had a really cool thought about this. Imagine, right, there's these 3 daily objectives, and one of them is, I don't know, stealing a car, right? But it's a new DLC car. It would be a little bit more elaborate, like maybe it would be in a compound somewhere. This would be all in free roam, and you'd have to go get it. Well, once you steal it, objective complete. There you go. Check mark. Now, normally Rockstar would maybe kick you out of the car, since it's maybe a DLC car, hypothetically, and then you'd have to spawn your own car and drive around, and that car would just sit there until it despawns. But what would be awesome is if you had, let's say, 20 minutes to spend in that car. You couldn't store it in your garage. You couldn't customize it. Maybe you could take it to not Benny's, but to the LSC just to fix it up, repair it if it gets damaged. But you would have 20 minutes to just spend with this car. It might not even be upgraded. It might just be the stock version. But it would be a new car, right? It'd be cool to see and cool to drive around. And then after that 20 minutes, there could be a notification that says the cops are onto you, or something along those lines, or like another gang's onto you. And then there's just like basically an endless amount of NPCs coming after you until you die, or until you get rid of the car, or like leave the car. And that would be like sort of a in-game way that Rockstar could limit you to how much time you spent in these cars, because one of the issues regarding Rockstar putting DLC vehicles out in free roam is that people, they think, I guess, people wouldn't buy those those DLC cars. They would just use them in free roam. Like, that's the reason I think they never put the DLC cars in traffic. So they're like, oh, they would just steal them and not buy them. But I don't think that's true, because people want to customize their cars and make them fast and make them good. So I don't think that'd be an issue. But clearly to Rockstar, I think that is an issue. But by having this sort of in-game reason to let players know they shouldn't be in that car anymore, then I think that's a good balance, because you give players some freedom to use these new cars, but then it's not like an endless amount of time. And then for the example that Fun gave with like the temporary access to a cargo bob if you didn't have one, that could be something where, oh, the military knows you stole one of their vehicles and they're coming after you with jets. Like, could you imagine seeing jets over Los Santos, the city part, and it's not a freaking person, it's an NPC, and they're trying to blow you up? That would be pretty damn cool. So if they made daily objectives along those lines, that would be one of the coolest things that they've, I think, ever done to free roam. But that's gonna sort of wrap up this video. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think the next DLC is? Because I think since we are gonna be waiting until June, this somewhat changes our thinking a little bit. Do we think they've actually spent 6 months plus potentially on an Arena Wars Part 2, or is this going to be something new? And what? Because, I mean, it's like they've kind of done everything major that you could think of, like apart from like a Navy DLC or something. So what could be something new and big and exciting that they could release in the summer, potentially during E3? So that's an update on the next DLC. Of course, if anything else comes out, I will be sure to let you guys know. Thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more GTA Online content. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.